Probabilities.
Introduction to probability. The probability of an event is the number of favorable outcomes over the total number of possible outcomes. For example, what's the probability of rolling a 4 and a 6-sided die? It's the number of favorable outcomes, which is 1, over the total number of possible outcomes, which is 6, so the probability is 1 over 6. Probability of independent events. Independent events are two events that do not affect each other's outcome. Suppose a die is rolled and then a coin is tossed. Those two events are independent because they are completely separate events, a coin and a die. The probability of two independent events occurring can be found by the following formula. The probability of A and B equals to the probability of A times the probability of B. Example, a dresser drawer contains one pair of socks with each of the following colors: blue, brown, red, white, and black. Each pair is folded together in a matching set. You reach into the sock drawer and you choose a pair of socks without looking. You replace this pair and then choose another pair of socks. What is the probability that you will choose the red pair of socks both times? The probability of red and red again is equals to 1 over 5 times 1 over 5, which equals to 1 over 25. The probability of dependent events. Dependent events is the case in which the first event affects the outcome of the second event. The key phrase is without replacement. Example, choosing a jack from a deck of cards and choosing another jack without replacement. Those two events are dependent because when you choose the first jack, you do not put it back, affecting the second jack's pick. The probability of two dependent events occurring can be determined by the probability of A and B equal to the probability of A times the probability of B given A. For example, a card is chosen at random from a standard deck of 52 playing cards without replacing it. A second card is chosen. What is the probability that the first card chosen is a queen and the second card chosen is a jack? The probability of a queen being picked first is 4 out of 52, and the probability of a jack being picked second, and given that the queen is picked first, is 4 out of 51. So the probability of a queen being picked first and then a jack being picked second is 4 out of 52 times 4 out of 51, which equals to 16 over 2,652, which simplifies to 4 over 663.
Probability of mutually exclusive events. Mutually exclusive events are two or more events that cannot occur at the same time. Suppose you are rolling a 6-sided die. What is the probability that you roll an odd number or you roll a 2? Those events are mutually exclusive because 2 isn't an odd number. The probability of either one of the two mutually exclusive events occurring is the probability of A or B is equal to the probability of A plus the probability of B. In a deck of 52 cards, what is the probability that you get either a king or a queen? The probability of a king getting a king or a queen is equal to 4 over 52 plus 4 over 52, which is equal to 8 over 52, which simplifies to 2 over 13. Mutually inexclusive events are two events that can occur at the same time. Suppose you're rolling an odd number or a number less than 4. These events are mutually inexclusive because they can occur at the same time in numbers 1 and 3. The probability of the union of two events is the probability of A or B, which is equal to the probability of A plus the probability of B minus the probability of A and B. What is the probability of choosing a card from a deck of cards that has a club or a 10? The probability of choosing a club is 13 over 52. The probability of choosing 10 is 4 over 52. And the probability of choosing a club and 10 is 1 over 52. The probability of choosing a club or a 10 is equal to 13 over 52 plus 4 over 52 minus 1 over 52. So 17 over 52 minus 1 over 52 is equal to 16 over 52 or 4 over 13.
Conditional probability. A probability where a certain prerequisite condition has already been met. What is the probability that a 10th grader is enrolled in bio if he is enrolled in Common Core Math 2? And this is a conditional probability because a student being enrolled in Common Core Math 2 is a condition that has been met. To calculate a conditional probability, you use P. The probability of A given B is equal to the probability of A and B over the probability of B. In Miss Dixon's homeroom, 70% of the students have black hair, 25% have brown eyes, and 5% have both black hair and brown eyes. A student is excused early to get to a doctor's appointment. If the student has brown hair, what is the probability that the student also has brown eyes? The probability of black hair and brown eyes is 0.05, and the probability of black hair is 0.7. So the probability of brown eyes given black hair is equal to 0.05 over 0.7, which is equal to 0.07, which is equal to 7%. Fundamental counting principle can be used to determine the possible outcomes where there are two or more outcomes. A student is to roll a die and flip a coin. How many possible outcomes will there be? You use 6 times 2 to give you 12 different outcomes. For a job interview, Jack has to choose what to wear from the following: 4 slacks, 2 shirts, 3 shoes, and 5 ties. How many possible outfits does he have to choose from? To solve this problem, you multiply all the different combinations. So that would be 4 slacks times the 2 shirts times the 3 shoes times the 5 ties, which would give you 120 different outcomes. Permutations. Permutations are an arrangement of items in a particular order. An example of this is to find the number of ways to arrange A, B, and C. 3, 2, 1. So you use 3 times 2 times 1, which is 6. This is a permutation because order matters in A, B, and C. To find the number of permutations of n items chosen R at a time, you use this formula, where 0 is less than or equal to R, which is also less than or equal to n. From a club of 24 members, a president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, and historian are to be elected. In how many ways can the offices be filled? You plug in the numbers and you get 5,100,480 different ways. You can also get the answer using the calculator. You press math, then PRB, then 2.
Combinations. Combinations is the arrangement of items in which the order doesn't matter. For example, to play a card game, each player is dealt 5 cards from a standard deck of 52 cards. How many different hands are possible? This is a combination because the order of the 5 cards doesn't matter. The result will be 2,598,960 hands. To find the number of combinations of n items chosen R at a time, you would use this formula, where 0 is less than or equal to R, which is also less than or equal to n. A student must answer 3 out of 5 essay questions on a test. In how many different ways can the student select the questions? In 10 different ways. You can get the answer using the calculator. You press math, then PRB, then click 2.